Competitive pricing and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
You want trucks? We've got trucks at Danny Menno Rapid Chevrolet. Shop our largest selection of new Chevy HD trucks in years. 18 2500s, 15 3500s, gas, diesel, and dualies. All with our exclusive $1,500 Danny Menno discount. Plus, get factory cash rebates or financing as low as 3.9% APR for 60 months. The trucks you want are at Danny Menno Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMennoRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. 1837 per thousand finance regardless of down with qualified credit. Expires 3/31/25.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in South Dakota, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in South Dakota. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Orioles topped the Red Sox today by a score of 8-5 in a handful of day games across Major League Baseball. It was all Royals today in Milwaukee, beating the Brewers 11-1, while the White Sox blanked the Twins 9-0. Phillies took care of the Rockies 6-1, home runs from Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. And this just in, as multiple reports say, Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar is being suspended 80 games for violating Major League Baseball's performance-enhancing drug policy. Former Colts and Panthers head football coach Frank Reich serving as Stanford's head football coach on an interim basis for the 2025 season, while free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers did have a throwing session with Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin said he had no update on the status of Rodgers possibly coming to Pittsburgh. Suns forward Kevin Durant out at least a week because of a left ankle sprain. Rutgers freshman Dylan Harper is going to be entering the NBA draft. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're back and ready on a Monday. Are you ready? Well, you're ready. Am I ready? The Nate Brown Show is on. It's Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. This is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Welcome in. Hope you had a nice weekend. I'm glad to be back, ready to go. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. And a great guest lineup tonight. A lot of South Dakota sports tonight. That's what you expect from South Dakota Sports Talk Show. So let's get ready to go. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Also find us on Twitter. Stream us live. You can watch us there on Twitter. Follow us on the app at Nate Brown Show. So get X. That's the formerly known as Twitter. Whatever you want to call it, but just get it, X, on your phone, and then watch us live at Nate Brown Show. So follow the show and watch us there. And on YouTube right now, saying hi to everybody. Welcome in studio watching on YouTube. The YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. So we're set on a Monday. I said a lot of South Dakota sports content. Well, it's great South Dakota sports guests across the board. So let's get to it. It's brought to you by Forever Lawn. That is the guest lineup. Brought to you by Forever Lawn of South Dakota. They have the best lineup of artificial grass in South Dakota. I love this company. Went to their headquarters, checked out the various types of artificial grass. This stuff looks really good if you want it for your house. Maintenance free. You can enjoy your summer. Landscape grass specific. They've got it. Let them design. Put it in. Golf greens, guys. You can putt and chip. Get really good. You have some property. Put it back there. Canine grass for the dogs. Sports grass. Turf. Fields. It's the top shelf stuff from Forever Lawn, and they're ready to install across the entire state, both sides. Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. Give them a shot. Take a look for yourself. Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. The Forever Lawn guest lineup on the Monday Nate Brown Show looks like this. Conrad Reeder's going to join us tonight. Conrad Reeder, head coach, Rushmore Thunder, varsity boys. A big shout-out tonight. We got to do this. They're just getting back to South Dakota, and they're the USA Hockey 2A national champions. This doesn't happen very often. You might know that. And it's not by, what happened here? No, the Rushmore Thunder hockey organization has been really good. This team has grown and gotten better. A big shout-out tonight to the Rushmore Thunder. Welcome back to South Dakota, the 2A USA Hockey high school national champions. They take down Illinois. And, of course, what a season. They were untouchable. They only lost one game all year. And then they go through the national run in Irvine, California. That's where they just traveled back from. And welcome back to South Dakota. We'll talk to their head coach tonight, Conrad Reeder. Of course, a great hockey story. You know, he's a great player, one of the fan favorites for the Rapid City Rush over those years. And now his son's playing. He's the head coach, and what a run they had. So Rushmore Thunder, head varsity coach, he's on tonight after a USA Hockey National Championship. Let's go to basketball. We'll go to Northern tonight. Matt Wilbur's the head coach. He just got introduced. We talked about this last week. I said, this is a good hire here. He was at Dakota Wesleyan. Matt Wilbur is going to join us live in his first radio interview coming up. Northern State head men's basketball coach Matt Wilbur's on the way. Chris Denker's in from the Final Four preview. Chris Denker, former D1 coach, Net Scouts basketball, previewing the Final Four, San Antonio. Chris Denker's on tonight. And Jay Elson's in from Midcoast Sports. His reaction to some hires across South Dakota, some basketball news. Jay Elson, Midcoast Sports Live from Sioux Falls. Monday's show is packed, so let's get rolling. Let's get to this thing. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch studio hotline for you. Connect on the show. We'll get you on. 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line's open as well. Direct text the show. 605-720-1067 on the Barron's Wilson text line. We already got a Rushmore Thunder shout-out on the text line. Listener text, thanks for giving the Thunder boys a shout-out. They're an amazing group. Well, they have to be. An amazing group. So, Rushmore Thunder, welcome back. Congrats. What a run. What a run. Even got a shout-out from Congressman Dusty Johnson. I saw that. So, there's nothing like a Nate Brown Show shout-out there, right? I love doing that. Okay, let's get to this. The news in South Dakota is, on the basketball side, it's been pretty hot and heavy here. The news on the basketball side started last week where you saw these changes. South Dakota State was going to lose Eric Henderson, and we found that out. Eric Henderson leaves the South Dakota State men's program. He goes to Drake. Not a ton of people are shocked. He's an Iowa guy. That's a perfect step. Drake's going to pay more. I mean, people love Hendo, and I've had him on the show quite a bit. He's been a great guy. I always say this story. So as I do this show, contact all sorts of guys, right? Media, coaches, interview athletes, and the whole thing. I contact all sorts of people, South Dakota, national, the whole deal. I always tell buddies of mine, I can tell who's genuine. Usually you can tell who's genuine the way they talk to you and communicate with you off the show. The way they talk to you and communicate off the show when they're out of the limelight. Are they just going through the motions? Are they this? Eric Henderson, to me, was always personable. I don't even know him that well. Just interviewed him on the show numerous times. Just personable, just a good guy. And you could tell it wasn't fake stuff. So congrats to Eric Henderson getting an opportunity. I know South Dakota State is just in this spot now. And I've said, the Jackrabbits have to continue to fill these spots, and Justin Sell is a mastermind of doing that. Justin Sell has been the mainstay, and he's been absolutely great in choosing the right folks. And now they're going through this change again. Men's basketball's been through it before, but football had to go through it. So this is a big year. Justin Sells had to say, hey, which way are we going in football at SDSU? Which way are we going now? Now we got to do basketball too? And so Eric Henderson's going to Drake, and the quick decision was made for SDSU to go with the assistant to Henderson, who's been here 6 years, Brian Peterson. And so, you know, people say, well, do we know Brian Peterson? Well, He's an assistant coach. He's in the program. And my deal is this. What do you think about hiring in-house? Some people say, well, it's always, it works because it's continuity. You know, you can maybe keep the team together. You have the player relationships. That has to be a big part of it for Justin Sell in this, right? But it can't be all of it. I don't think it's one way or the other. People say, well, you got to hire in-house when you're a mid-major. You just do because of the transfer portal, and guys don't want to wait. This is open right now. We can't have a coaching change and then lose the players. I don't think that's the sole reason Justin Sell goes, well, let's see the assistant. Okay, Brian Peterson's been here 6 years. Yeah, that's the guy. It's just his. That can't be the decision. However, is it smart to do it that way? So Henderson leaves, and again, they've done this now a couple of times. Henderson was an assistant, stayed in-house. People love that choice. They're going to do the same thing. Justin Sell says, we're going another assistant to the Jacks. We lose Henderson. Now we're going to go with Brian Peterson. So let me ask you this question of the day, because I don't believe it's one or the other, meaning, well, when you're a mid-major in the transfer portal era, you can't lose players. You can't have things be up in the air. I'm not so sure on that you have to stay in-house. Justin Sell's decided to do that in the men's basketball program the last couple of times. Do you have to stay in-house when you're looking to hire a new coach if you're a mid-major? Because you can't risk, I'm going to lose this guy. I can't take time to do a search. We don't want to lose this whole thing. What do you say? Because now we've seen it on a couple instances, not only at SDSU, staying in-house on the men's side. USD just did the same thing on football. SDSU did the same thing earlier with football when Stig left. They went with Jimmy Rogers. He was the coach in waiting, so to speak. So these mid-majors, there's a little bit more staying in-house, at least for the Yotes and the Jacks, than casting the net, seeing who's out there. What are the options? Who would be interested in this? What do you think is the right play? You have to get inside the program. Justin Sell knows these guys better than anybody. So everybody's going to say, you got to trust in Sell. Trust in Justin Sell. And I think that's pretty accurate. He's going to know the deal way better than, well, what if somebody wanted this gig? What if there's somebody out there? Do you have to go in-house? Is it smart to go in-house? You're a mid-major like SDSU. Transfer portal's open. You lose Eric Henderson to Drake. What are you going to do? You're going to go, well, yeah, let's see. Am I going to lose the assistants too? Are we going to make this call quickly? Because a lot of these basketball coaches, they have their fraternity, right? They have a close-knit community. They're going to take coaches with them, the relationships that they built and the trust that they have amongst coaching staffs. So if you don't act pretty quickly, if Justin Sell didn't say, hey, we got to get this done here before Peterson maybe goes to Drake with Hendo, that's also coming into play. So this type of stuff it seems like it's ramped up. You're not going to be able to, well, who could we offer a huge amount of money to? You're SDSU. You are where you're at, and the play usually has been, let's have these other coaches that are on the staff stay, develop, they have the relationships, let's give them a shot. And what do you say about that strategy for mid-majors? How important is it to you, do you think, to stay in-house? He's been with the Jackrabbits. He knows the players. When you have a coaching change, to me, as a mid-major, it's got to be the first place you look. You look at the staff and you say, is there somebody that fits that? Justin Sell said it's Brian Peterson this time. They said it was Eric Henderson last time. We've seen this along the way. Is that how that's the first place you have to look for me. That's the first place. How important is it for you, mid-majors like SDSU, to stay in-house when you have coaching changes? I think some people want you to throw it out there. We're the Jacks. Who knows who would want this? Maybe we could get a big-timer, somebody that has a lot of head coaching experience. I don't know about that, but what do you say? 605-720-1067 on the Barron's Wilson text line. Listener reaction coming in. I like this one. Rule number one from this listener. Rule number one, trust Justin Sell. Rule number two, trust Justin Sell. Okay. I got that. How important is it to stay in-house? You're a mid-major like SDSU. They just hired Brian Peterson. He's been on the staff with Eric Henderson the last 6 years. They elevate him to head coach now, the men's basketball side. Would you stay in-house? To me, it's absolutely the first place you look. You have to think through it long and hard. And if it's a possibility, you got to do it quickly. I think that's usually the right play. Sometimes it's not going to work out. Maybe this coach wasn't quite ready, however that may be. But you got to look there first. It's just like anybody's company. You're running a company. You're looking to promote from within. Usually the folks that are inside that are doing, if you're not in a bad organization, and SDSU's been a good one, usually stay in-house if it's not really broken, which SDSU basketball is not. Let's see, 64% of you voting. Stay in-house if you're SDSU, if you can. Keep the team together. So how important is it? You say very important to stay in-house. 64% of you say very important to stay in-house. 36% of you vote cast a net, see who's out there. Cast a net, see who's out there. 605-720-1067 on the Barons-Wilson text line. You like SDSU staying in-house? USD did it on the football side. They just did it. Bob Nielsen, of course, retires, and they stay in-house with their defensive coordinator. So they stayed in-house. SDSU men's basketball has stayed in-house the last couple of cycles, and they're doing it again with Brian Peterson. It's just the way it works. You don't see that at major programs nearly as much, but you do a little bit. But major programs are different than SDSU, money-wise, attraction-wise. You just got to think this through. You can't be, I think, taking a bunch of time. Hey, do we risk losing players? The transfer portal is easy. Players can leave at the drop of a hat. I think that all factors in. Do we have good relationships with the players? Do we want to keep this unit together, this nucleus? I think Justin Sell factored it all in. We'll see how Brian Peterson steps into the head role. Eric Henderson did a nice job. How about Coach Peterson? I've seen some reaction online of the hiring by the Jacks, and they said, some of the former players said, this guy is great. This guy is really, really good with the players. So I think you got to look in-house. 64% of you say it's very important to stay in-house if you're a mid-major like SDSU. By the way, I've got to get to this baseball story because it's really going to be interesting what you baseball purists tell me on this. I need some baseball purists to fill me in on what the right thing is for this baseball story. I'm going to get to that before we'll get a call in here. Thanks for getting on. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Thanks for taking my call.
What do you say?
Like with your first thing, I think, I'm sure SDSU has pretty good staff. I mean, it's not like there's a bunch of, major college basketball programs around poaching staff members from SDSU, so I'm sure it's pretty deep there. And I think the mid-major, they can't afford to make, a $5 million mistake. If you bring in one of those high-powered coaches or someone that's coming off, they're not coming for nothing. And, if they're not all into it, I don't think they can make that mistake. So I think it does make sense to stay, in-house.
I think you don't have to, but that's the first place you have to look, I think.
You'd have to find probably an assistant coach somewhere at a program like Nebraska or something if you were looking for something like that, I would think, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for getting on. I think you have to look in-house if you're the SDSUs and USDs. That's my point, because I think some people like this. Oh, well, we got the assistant, we're going to promote him. And then I've heard people, I wonder who else they could get. Who would be able to come to South Dakota State? Well, they can offer what they can offer. It's not massive. It's not massive. I mean, Eric Henderson left for Drake. It's not like a massive step up, but he's going to make more money. He's going to get more opportunities there. I mean, it's just the case. He's got a bigger budget on the basketball side. They're not a big football, right? So that's what you got, resources, money. That's why Eric Henderson made the step. It's not a lateral move. It was a step up for him. And now a new coach steps in. Okay. What do you think of this Yankee story? I'm gonna take a couple of reactions on this. So the Yankee, baseball season's back, and the Yankees set a record over the weekend. Well, they tied it, 15 home runs in their opening series. That's a tying of a record for an opening series, 15 home runs. They had 9 home runs in one game against the Brewers over the weekend. And now you're starting to hear. Have you heard about this? The torpedo bats. And I'm looking at pictures of the torpedo bats that they use. These are new bats designed by an MIT physicist. I'm not making this. He was on the Yankees staff. He designed this bat, and now they're using it. He moves the wood around to give it a stronger weight where you hit the ball, and it's a long story. I've got 4-page story on it. Okay, I'm not going to read through it. I've looked at this. I've looked at the pictures. It's the torpedo bat. It looks like a bowling pin. It almost looks like a bowling pin. You can tell it's different, and they hit home runs. They had home runs on the first 3 pitches of the game. Did you see that? The first 3 pitches of the game, they all hit home runs. 2 torpedo bats, and then Aaron Judge, who doesn't use the torpedo bat. Oh, boy. He doesn't use the torpedo bat. What would Aaron Judge do if he starts using the torpedo bat? Is he going to use the torpedo bat? My question for you is, it sounds like these bats might allow you to hit more home runs. Maybe it's one weekend. Let's keep an eye on it. It sounds like it looks like you can hit more home runs with the torpedo bats. If that's the case, if this is coming into play, we play a month, and the torpedo bats are setting records, do you want to ban the torpedo bats? Do you want to review the torpedo bats? Do we need an MIT physicist to come in and try and give these guys an edge? I've got my thoughts on this. I can't have basketball shoes that allow me to jump higher than somebody else. I know the Reebok pumps told me I could, but I couldn't, okay? But I can't have basketball shoes designed by an MIT physicist where I can jump higher than everybody. I can't have that. So I can't have torpedo bats that allow me to hit a bunch of home runs, correct? Lister text, this looks like a cricket bat. It's the hitting with bowling pins. It's amazing. Let's get to the torpedo bat discussion. Would you ban the torpedo bats? If it allows, we got a month here of record-setting homers. Would you take a look, say, hey, we got to review these torpedo bats? Well, they're the same length, they're the same diameter, they fall under the same rules. I don't like it. It looks like an edge, and it seems like a false edge. Seems like a false edge, just like a corked bat. It's like a corked bat. You can't have that. So that's what it is. I don't like it. Let's get to Matt Wilbur, and you tell me on the text line as we go to Matt Wilbur, the Northern head coach, next. 605-720-1067. Are you going to ban the torpedo bats if we have record-setting homers here like in the first month? If the Yankees keep up this tear with the torpedo bats, are you going to be happy about it? I don't like it. 605-720-1067. Coach Matt Wilbur from Northern is next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Get a paint that combines gorgeous color and durability. Dutch Boy's Platinum Plus is a paint and primer with a protective finish that guards against scuffs, spills, and stains. Refresh your home today with Dutch Boy paint. Get a gallon on sale now through April 6th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Stock up and save on the toughest filters in the business during Wix Filters sale days at your local Auto Value Parts store. Not only will you get the best deal of the season on our very best filters, but you'll also find deep discounts on oil, fluids, grease, batteries, and more. Upgrade your filters during Wix Filters sale days at your local Auto Value Parts store. See store for official sale dates. Auto Value. We've got the parts. We've got the smarts.
Experience the best selection and lowest prices in town at both Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. Save big on Black Box wine, 3 liters for $17.49. Or get $3 off 19 Crimes wine, now just $8.99. The popular High Noon ready-to-drink 4-packs reduced to only $9.99. Or stock up on 750s of Malibu rum, now $15.99. Remember, you can enjoy a delicious Tab beer while you shop at the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron next to Walmart or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Attention, Rapid City. More big news from Gateway Autoplex. We are expanding our services with our brand new state-of-the-art auto repair shop located right behind our lot, 123 Omaha Street. Gateway Tire and Alignment. That's right, Rapid City. We're now your one-stop shop for everything auto-related. From routine maintenance to major repairs, our team of expert technicians has you covered. Plus, with our state-of-the-art equipment, you can trust that your vehicle is in the best possible hands. Visit Gateway Tire and Alignment and see why nobody beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise overcast. Lows around 34, winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for rain tomorrow, high of 42, cloudy. Cloudy skies tomorrow night, mixed precipitation likely, lows around 29. About an inch of snow tomorrow night through Wednesday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 38 degrees.
Spring is in the air, and so are the savings at Highmark Credit Union. Ready to hit the road this season? How about a new ride with a new car loan at unbeatable low rates for qualified borrowers? At Highmark Credit Union, you can drive away with low rates, flexible terms, and the freedom to make every trip to Highmark or on the road feel like a spring vacation. So, what are you waiting for? Spring into action today with a car loan from Highmark today. Visit highmarkfcu.com or stop by and see us. The road to savings starts here. We'll make it happen. Terms and conditions apply. Visit highmarkfcu.com for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game? Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV? Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in South Dakota. Glad to have you on board. Monday edition. Hope you had a nice weekend. The Nate Brown Show back on Fox Sports Radio. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Stream us all the time there on X. If you're on X, you can find us at Nate Brown Show, and then you can watch the show live. We're streaming there on X live right now. Welcome in studio. You can watch the show. A lot of great guests tonight. And let's start with basketball. I followed his career at DWU. He did a great job, 11 seasons, Dakota Wesleyan. Really elevated that program, won a lot of games there in Mitchell. Now he's back in South Dakota. He's going to go to the Northern Wolves. What a program, right? Matt Wilbur, just introduced today as head coach, Northern State men's basketball. And he joins us on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, good to have you on. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm great. I appreciate you having me on. You know, I'm in the middle of the college basketball landscape, and it's been a whirlwind. And a little over a week ago, I was planning on being sitting by a pool right now down in Phoenix, Arizona, and here I am sitting in an office in Aberdeen, South Dakota. So I'm loving life, man. This is awesome.
Okay.
This is awesome. Pretty fired up.
Congrats on it. You got introduced to the Aberdeen community. You know the story of Northern basketball, and so we'll get into that. But what's it feel like being back in South Dakota? You did that stint at WNBA. I'm going to ask you about that, but what's it like being back in South Dakota?
Yeah, well, it's great. It's great. I mean, it's obviously, I was born and raised, and last year living in Phoenix was the first year I've lived out of South Dakota. So, this place up here at Northern, I grew up, 80 miles from here in Miller, South Dakota. My dad played here. So you're talking about, I was a little kid watching Eric Klein and crew, fire away in the late 80s, early 90s. This was the place we went. So it's a little surreal, right? I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little surreal that, as a college coach. You get to be at a place that, you grew up as a kid. And so, but, family, my family's in Mitchell. We did, I got a great family and I got a great wife, and it keeps things moving, but I move away 1,500 miles away. And we did it, and now I'm 1-0 less than that, right? Like, it's 150. So, South Dakota, what it means, and Northern State basketball and all of that rich tradition. And I just have said this a lot. I just couldn't be more humbled and honored to have this opportunity. It's really crazy.
Northern men's basketball coach Matt Wilbur on tonight on the Nate Brown Show on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Good to have him. Just got introduced to the Aberdeen community today. What was the leaning factor, Coach? I'm thinking about this. Coming back in a position like this, what was the factor where you said, I got to do this? What, family, the Northern connection, what was it?
Yeah, the first and foremost, I was like, I'll be honest with you. I think I'm humble enough to say, I was like, can I get this job? Like, am I qualified? Like, do I have enough on, the resume to have a chance at this job? Because it just felt like a job I had to chase. And it was, you talk about timing. I'm sitting down in Phoenix, and I got a great basketball job in Phoenix. And being an assistant coach, we got a bunch of assistant coaches. I'm working for Nate Tibbetts, right? And so it really came down to something like, once it got to the point where, hey, I got a chance at this, and then I got an offer, and thinking about getting an offer, it was, and I talked to Nate Tibbetts a ton about it. Do you want to be the head coach, or do you want to be an assistant coach? What do you want? And you do some soul searching, and I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be honest with you, Nate. At my heart, and getting that opportunity at DWU and being out on the sidelines and doing all the stuff that you have to do as a head coach, I just feel like I'm a head coach at heart, and this was just too big of an opportunity for a guy like me to pass up. And I just, I went through the process and threw my heart into it to go get it, and was fortunate enough to get the offer. And, I had settled on that, and that's just what it was. It came down to, who do you want to be? And the fact that I get to do it at a place like this that is completely big time, and at this level, it just is really cool. And so that was probably the biggest factor. The opportunity to be the head coach at a place like Northern State University is just too good to pass up. Okay,
describe your formula in Mitchell, where you won a lot of games. DWU really hit a high level. Describe. Does that work in Northern? What's the formula?
I really think so. I mean, I believe in it. Obviously, it's you're at a higher level, and there's this landscape of basketball in college where the transfer portal is having the impact it has on your current roster as well as incoming. It's just something to navigate. But at Northern, in the recent history, and DWU is the same way. Hammering home 4-year local talent, and that's not just South Dakota. You're talking Minnesota, North Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, this Midwest region. I think you can get after and get high-level talent from the high school ranks. And I've used the analogy of, at DWU, with a number of kids, we were punching out of our weight class, right? Like, there's some kids we had that were more than capable of playing at a higher level, and we got them there for different reasons and circumstantial reasons, but that's what it's got to be. And it's the same thing here. Can you punch out of your weight class on a few kids that are local and high school kids, and then you sprinkle in the transfer portal when you need to. And Northern, I'm familiar enough with the Northern basketball teams. A couple of years ago, we had a kid named Sam Masson here who transferred back from Northern Colorado, Player of the Year, and that's the type of portal kid and transfer kid you want to get. He works in our athletic department now. Like, he is a wolf through and through. And so it was the same way at DWU. We were always building our foundation, and the bulk of our roster was recruiting and staying solid year to year with high school kids, and then adding punch with the transfers and in that world. And that's what was the platform I interviewed on. That was the model I talked about. And the truth is, Northern was, you talk about what it was like most recently here with Coach Phillips's teams when he was coaching, but before that, Paul Sather, and then you You get Don Meyer and Bob Olson. I mean, that has been the model at Northern for a lot of years. And it was the same way at DWU, and I embraced that, and that's what fit me. That was a big reason why I chased it. I mean, I wasn't chasing a college job. I was chasing Northern State. And with that in mind, knowing, hey, I think this really fits at this time. And while everybody's got questions if you can do a job when you get it, I just felt really confident that process could be done, and I could do it.
Matt Wilbur joining us. Couple more. Appreciate his time. He's the Northern head men's basketball coach here on the Nate Brown Show. So, what's tougher these days, Coach? Recruiting or coaching? What's tougher here?
They both are. But if you're not recruiting, the coaching gets really hard. It starts there. You talk to anybody, and I'm not going to outsmart any room. I mean, you talk to anybody that has any idea what's going on, and you're like, hey, what are the most important things to being successful at a college level? And say there's 10 of them. Once you get to 9, that's when you can start talking about X's and O's, because the top 9 are players. You need to have good players. And, you got to be able to recruit, and then when you get them there, you got to be able to get them in the right spots and be able to, you got to be able to get guys moving in the right direction. So, you bring up a big question. That's the question. You got to put the work in. You got to build the relationships. You got to chase the right talent. And then when they get here, that's the challenge. You bring a bunch of guys in. Can you get them all moving down the road at the same speed? That's the biggest challenge. We can't have guys, hitting the off-ramp at 100 miles an hour when everybody else is trying to stay on the road, and so you're constantly working at forming your culture and getting everybody to speak the same language and think the same way. And so that's the biggest challenge. Once you get them here, is getting them moving in the right direction.
Are you realistic, Coach? I've talked to some coaches. Are you realistic saying, if I get a really good player, we're D2, it's a great program, but if I get a really good player, here come other people. Here come the mid-majors. Here they come. Are you realistic saying, I still want that player, or do you want guys for 4 years, 5 years?
Well, we want guys for 4 years and 5 years, but I'm not going to be scared of getting portaled. That would be, I think that would be really short-sighted in what you're doing. We want to get the best players here, but I'm not going to recruit kids to get portaled. We're gonna recruit kids to get them here. And if if you've got really good players, that could happen. And most recently here in Northern State, you saw that play out. A young man named Jackson Money was up here. He was the starting 5-man. Had played 3 years at Northern and went to North Dakota State, and he was one of the best 3 players in the Summit League his last year.
Yeah.
Well, is that a tough story to hear? Well, he did a lot at Northern before he left, and so that's just something you got to embrace, that side of it. I'm not going to recruit kids to go, hey, come here, and if you can go, you can go. But I mean, that's just the way of the world, and we'll do our best. We'll do our best to try to figure out if we have to cross that bridge with a kid to what are we doing internally to try to keep him here. But I think if you start fighting the whole portal, you're probably in the wrong profession today in college basketball. And you see some guys getting out and they're moving on, but you've got to embrace what it is and meet kids where they're at and coach them. I'm not going to be afraid to coach kids to lose them because they might leave. I think if you're building relationships with your kids day in and day out, you have a chance there. But it's just the way of the world today, and it's a tough one, but it's just how it is. So, to answer your question, we're recruiting the kids we think can win here. We're trying to get them here day one, and then we're going to coach them every day and worry about, the repercussions of having too good of players. I think that's a good problem to have.
I would take that. Matt Wilbur on tonight. Last one, Coach, and I'll let you on. I appreciate your time.
Yep.
So you were in Mitchell. That's a great basketball town. That's a great.
Oh, yeah.
Northern now, another level with this program. Aberdeen, really great basketball place. How do you sell? What do you sell to the recruits? Does it matter that Northern and this community is like that?
Oh, man. That's what I was saying in the press conference today. I was like, I get to sell Northern State. We get to sell Wax Arena. I mean, with the Barnett Center and the crowd support you get here, the fact that people care, the amazing facilities, the Northern Sun, Premier Division II basketball league. And then, you can't sit here and, it's tough when you're like, hey, this is how it's going to go. But I'm a relationship guy, and I want our kids enjoying every day, not just the game night, not just where, hey, we got to wait to get to the games and we're miserable every other step trying to get there. I want practices to be productive and enjoyable and all of it. And I'll tell you what, I could sell Aberdeen and Northern State with what we have here from a facility standpoint. And players want to go somewhere where it matters. I believe that at Mitchell it was that case. Kids would come and see what games are going on at the Corn Palace and see the support. If you're a player and you don't want that and that doesn't excite you, I think that's a crazy thing. So yeah, man, I can't wait to get out there. We've had a lot of recruiting calls early on, and the response has been really, really productive. I focused right away on South Dakota kids and the ones that I knew and the ones that we were targeting, and those kids have been just really responsive in a great way to what we've got going on. So I can't wait to keep going. We'll see what we can get done, but we know it's a big challenge. This league is unbelievable, well coached, players are high level. But what a great opportunity. I couldn't be more thankful to have this chance.
A lot of people are excited. Coach, I'll let you get to work. Yep. Matt Wilbur on tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Nate. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Good luck to you. We'll stay in touch with him. Good to have him on. Matt Wilbur on tonight, Northern head men's basketball coach here on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. He joins us on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Good basketball discussion. Coach Wilbur ready to roll. I think that's solid. He did a really good job at Dakota Wesleyan, and now a big job at Northern. That's a big one. And Matt Wilbur gets the gig, leaves the WNBA in Phoenix, where he was an assistant down there with Nate Tibbetts. Said, number one factor, I want to be a head coach again. Matt Wilbur on tonight. If you missed parts of this show, a reminder, maybe you caught the last end of Matt Wilbur there. You want to hear the whole thing, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show is there. Just search The Nate Brown Show, and then you've got a Spotify, Amazon, Apple. So every interview, every content segment right there. Search The Nate Brown Show wherever you get your podcast, and you can hear Coach Wilbur and our next guest, Jay Elson, Midcoast Sports, live from Sioux Falls. What does he say about the new Jax hire? They go in-house again. Jay Elson next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding. The Pop Gliding. Long open gliding door is probably the number one source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure. Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
Here when you need us, for the extreme athletes or those everyday activities. From kiddos with broken bones to retirees with creaky knees. Whether you're pumping iron or planting petunias, we'll be in our clinic locations throughout the region, working together. Monument Health Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, getting you moving again, so you can confidently say, I'm back. Go to monument.health/orthopedics to find out more.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Building projects can be complex. The risks are great and time is money. Consolidated Construction of Rapid City simplifies the process by being your advocate, guiding you through funding, design, and construction. They manage the players and the schedule and marry the design to your budget so you get the most for your investment. They promise an energizing experience before, during, and after construction. It's not enough that you get a quality building. They pledge you'll experience quality every step of the way. Consolidated Construction. OneCallToBuild.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on a Monday. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Remember that. That's the show's motto. I mean, we got to remember that, right? Great stuff tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We just had Matt Wilbur on. His first radio interview since getting introduced as Northern's head coach today. Matt Wilbur back in South Dakota, the former Dakota Wesleyan coach, 11 seasons there at DWU. Now he's going to Northern. We just had him on. If you miss some of the show, some of those interviews, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. We put it up at the end of the show every day. Jay Elson's in, Midcoast Sports. Great sports play-by-play man, broadcaster covering the Jacks, the Yotes, Midcoast Sports. Find him on Twitter at Elson Midco. Jay, welcome on. How are you?
Doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time. Good to have you. I wanted to talk to you about all the basketball news because, I mean, there's basketball news going on. First, I'll go to the Matt Wilbur deal. I just had him on the show. I had a great discussion with him. Really, really good basketball coach at Dakota Wesleyan. He said his number one factor, he wanted to be a head coach. That's why he left the WNBA as an assistant. He was down there with Nate Tibbetts. What do you think of Northern reviving? They've had a rough couple of years. What do you think of Matt Wilbur?
I think it's a great hire. Obviously, Wilbs did a great job in his time at Dakota Wesleyan. Took that program to a lot of big games and accomplished a lot of things there. And he's a name that resonates with a lot of people in this state, right? I mean, you could sense on social media the excitement behind that hire for Northern State. A lot of big names in terms of basketball figures in our state or that have ties to our state, whether it be Paul Sather, Nate Tibbetts, several others that all spoke out in support of that hire. So I think for Northern State fans, they've got to be pretty excited. Obviously, it was a pretty dismal year for them in Aberdeen, and they haven't had a whole lot of those for a long time. So anybody that can bring kind of instant excitement back to that program, I think is certainly a good thing for Northern State and for Division II basketball in our state.
I got to tell you, how tough is the sledding in the Northern Sun? I mean, you cover the Jackson Yotes a lot, but Northern Sun has some good teams. Northern's been up there usually. How tough of sledding is it?
This year in particular, Nate, was just brutal in terms of the parity. The top 8 teams that made the NSIC tournament, or the 8 teams that made it, they weren't all of the top 8 teams in the regular season standings, but the top 1 through 8 were separated by 2 games was all. I mean, they were just beating each other up. It was an absolute gauntlet. You could say that most years, but I think this one went a little bit deeper than you would expect. And you saw that in the tournament this year with Minot State as the 8th seed, a team that at one point had climbed as high as number 4 in the country, hit a rough patch in the second half of the year, had some extenuating circumstances, and but boy, I tell you what, they played some of their best basketball late, ended up making the NSIC title game, and then as the 8th seed earned a spot in the regional. And going into that tournament, there was a very real shot, if everything would have gone chalk in some of the other conferences that are in play with the region tournament, that the NSIC was going to get 6 out of the 8 spots, which would have been just crazy. It would have been only the second time in league history that it had happened. They ended up getting 5. I think Mankato got a little robbed, thought they should have been in as well, especially as the defending national champs and a team that made it to the semifinals and finished right in the middle of that whole pack of craziness in the NSIC of this year. So I really thought they were going to get 6 and was disappointed genuinely that they didn't, because they clearly deserved it with the quality of basketball that we were seeing night in and night out in that conference. And I don't think it's going away. I mean, there's a lot of really good coaches in the Northern Sun, and add Matt Wilbur's name to that list now.
Yeah, Matt Wilbur going to try and bring Northern back to the top in the Northern Sun. Jay Elson on tonight. Follow his work at Midcoast Sports. Let's go to South Dakota State. So Eric Henderson goes to Drake. People say, well, was that a lateral step? My explanation is better pay for him, better resources, big time, just a higher level there. That feels like, how big of a step up to you?
It's not a major step up, but it is a step up. I think if you pay attention, what name in terms of Division I college basketball hits deeper, on a national level, and it is the Missouri Valley, and it is Drake. And a couple other schools in that conference as well. South Dakota State has a tremendous tradition, and the Summit League has certainly raised its profile in the last decade plus, and South Dakota State's had a whole bunch to do with it, as has North Dakota State on the men's side. Oral Roberts making the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
That certainly helped. There's a lot of good basketball in the Summit League, but overall, you would have to say that the Missouri Valley is a step up, and I think the suggestion of it being lateral is pretty crazy to me. And you look at some of the finances involved, what Hendo's going to make,
right?
And that they don't have to make that public because they're a private institution, but he's going to do very well. And just something that Summit League schools just can't do. They just can't meet that financial burden or expectation. And so, such is the territory. And this is, I hate to use the term stepping stone because fan bases certainly hate to feel like they're a stepping stone. But the reality is, in whatever business you're in, it's part of the hierarchy, right? There's just rungs that are a little bit lower on the ladder, and the Summit League is that for coaches that want to move on. I think you've seen it even more significantly on the women's side with some of the moves that have been made with coaches going straight from the Summit League into Power 4 jobs. And we just saw another one with Kelsey Music leaving Oral Roberts to go to Arkansas. Amy Williams went to Nebraska. Don Plitzaway went to West Virginia and is now at Minnesota. Aaron Johnson could go get a Power 4 job for anybody that wanted him, and if that's what he wanted, because we all know what kind of coach he is. So, but on the men's side, it's a steeper hill to climb, and so this is a great job. And you look at what Ben McCollum managed to do, what DeVries did before him, going to West Virginia and now ending up at Indiana in a span of a year, and McCollum going from Northwest Missouri State, a Division II job, to Drake, to Iowa in a span of a year. I mean, this could lead to big, big things for Eric Henderson, but it's a step he has to take first on the men's side.
Yeah. South Dakota State's step is to go to Brian Peterson. He's been there 6 years, Hendo's assistant. Is that just the play you have to make first, meaning these mid-majors got to look inside first if there's the right person, continuity, team, relationships? Is that where you got to look first? It seems like that's where they've gone.
It feels like it, just with, roster retention being such a big challenge for these schools now, in this landscape of college athletics. And that's going to be a challenge no matter who's in charge. But if you can find any kind of continuity when you transition from one coach to the next, it's certainly not going to hurt you. And so I know in speaking with some administrators in the past, they have asked their coaches, is the next guy on your staff? Do you believe the next guy is on your staff? If he's not, let's go get him. And so that very well may have been the case here with Brian Peterson, but I can tell you his was the name that surfaced for me right away in terms of what I was hearing from people. They said, "Hey, if it's internal, it's going to be Brian Peterson." And sure enough, they didn't waste any time. In fact, I don't know if they even made it 24 hours before they made that official. So, Brian's got a tremendous track record of his own in the coaching ranks. Played at Iowa State, learned under Greg McDermott, and then Fred Hoiberg at Iowa State before moving into the JUCO ranks at Kirkwood. Won a couple of national titles as a head coach at Kirkwood in the JUCO ranks, and then found his way to SDSU, and obviously was part of some really great stuff with the Jackrabbits under Eric Henderson. So is he ready for this opportunity? I don't think there's any question of that. He's proven his ability to lead programs. Yes, it's a different beast at the Division I level, but at the same time, he's obviously very clearly got tremendous respect within those walls and outside them.
Coaching reaction from Jay Elson, Midco Sports, Sioux Falls. Find him on Twitter at Elson Midco. The Jacks have a new head men's basketball coach, so does Northern. Jay, good to have you, man. I appreciate you hopping on.
Hey, always great to be with you, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your time. Jay Elson on tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Got him from Midco Sports. Great work he does there at Midco. Find him on Twitter at Elson Midco if you're not following him. Jay Elson on the Nate Brown Show. Let's get to our question of the day. The torpedo bats. Have you heard this yet? Yankees hit all these home runs this weekend, tied a record for an opening series here, 15 homers. Torpedo bats. It's an MIT physicist designed bat, and I think you got to take a second look. You got to take a second look at these torpedo bats, don't you? Let's see. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Yeah, didn't the league take a look at these bats?
I don't know about that. I know they fit the diameter and the length. I don't know if they looked at them.
They have to inspect stuff like that.
Yeah, well, they said it fits the length, it fits the diameter, so they fit. That's what they're telling. That's what they're saying. But they're designed differently. That's the difference.
But don't they have some kind of X-ray deal that can see through it?
Well, yeah, I would think so. I would think so. Sounds like you don't like these torpedo bats.
I don't like the Yankees.
Okay, there we go. Thanks for getting in. I appreciate it. That's a truth teller. That's a truth teller. Hey, by the way, if this was my Cubs, let me be fair. What would I be saying today if my Cubs were using the torpedo bats? I just got a listener text here from a Twins fan. Imagine that. The Twins fan said the Twins are not using the torpedo bats, clearly. He said, I think they're using a new bat called the Dud bat. The Dud bat. Thank you very much. Coming right back, I'll answer the question of the day. Should I really ban the torpedo bats? Hang on.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
No one has a handbook for what we're living through today, which is why the experience you have access to makes all the difference in how you make it to tomorrow. For decades, Dakota Bank has worked with ag producers through industry, economic, and regional changes. We're committed to agriculture. We're committed to the producers and families that make our communities great. Go with commitment, experience, and integrity. Dakota Bank, banking, insurance, mortgage, and trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and trust not FDIC insured.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise overcast. Lows around 34, winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for rain tomorrow, high of 42, cloudy. Cloudy skies tomorrow night, mixed precipitation likely, lows around 29. About an inch of snow tomorrow night through Wednesday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 38 degrees.
March means big savings at Spearfish Motors. Save up to $6,250 on 2025 GMC Sierra Light Duty, or choose finance rates as low as 0.9% for 36 months. Save up to $2,750 on select GMC Sierra HDs. Plus, we've received truckloads of new GMC inventory. Check out a great selection of the all-new Acadia, Terrain, and Canyon. Hurry in today before the March savings drive away.
Online always at spearfishmotors.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in, The Nate Brown Show live. Good stuff today, Monday edition of the program, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. You can listen on the radio, but you can also bring us up on your phone on X, at Nate Brown Show. So if you follow the show, you can watch us live every afternoon on X, at Nate Brown Show. We'll talk Final Four coming up. Chris Denker, former D1 head coach, now pro basketball scout, Net Scouts basketballs. Chris Denker on tonight from San Francisco. Conrad Reeder's going to join us. Great hockey player in South Dakota. Played for the Rapid City Rush all those years. Great player. That's the head coach, Rushmore Thunder. They just won the national championship, USA Hockey. This team from Rapid City, these boys went out to Irvine, California, won the USA Hockey 2A high school national championship yesterday. They traveled like all night. They're back in South Dakota. We got Conrad Reeder, the head coach, coming up. All right. Should you ban the torpedo bats is our question of the day. The torpedo bats. It's like, what are we talking about? The torpedo bat is being used by the Yankees and a couple of other players. Like they're saying, well, it's not just the Yankees. Yeah, there's a couple other players that have tried it out. But apparently the Yankees know how to use it. They hit 15 homers against the Brewers in the opening weekend series. 9 homers in one game. So if this is a big advantage, should we look at banning the torpedo bats? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. What do you say?
Well, if the bat's been looked over by Major League Baseball and they don't have a problem with it, then if you're the other team, just get some of the bats and use them yourself.
Well, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it, but I'm saying we want home run fest here. Here's the thing. The regulations are lax. Here's the rule. The bat shall be smooth, round stick made of wood, not more than 2.6 inches in diameter and thickness. So it's lax. It doesn't say much in the rule of what a bat should be. And so they fit the length and the diameter. Is that okay?
Well, if I'm one of the other teams, and I'm gonna get some before they decide they're illegal, and why don't every team get a few of them and try them? If everybody starts bombing them, then I'd say maybe we should. But and to just gripe at. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Yankees fan. I hate the Yankees, but get some on yourself and try them then.
Okay, so hang on. If we let the torpedo bats go, you're telling me we have a record-setting home run season, and you're okay with that? Like 800 home runs, you're okay with it?
Well, I'm just saying, if other teams get some and have similar success, then maybe we should consider banning it. But at the present time, to gripe about the Yankees, then get some yourself and try them.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
And then, if everybody starts hitting them, then maybe we should.
Okay. That's where I'm at.
If I'm a general manager, I'm saying, hey, give my team a few of these, and let's try them out for our team.
Yeah, how about the Twins first? All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Twins could do.
I appreciate you getting on. So he's saying if it's legal, you can do it. This is like what I'm going to talk about next in the NFL. This is like that thing. I'm going to talk about that next in the NFL, but let's stick with the torpedo bats. If the torpedo bats, this MIT physicist designed these bats for the Yankees. He was on their staff as an analyst, and he designed these bats, and they're using them, and they just exploded over the weekend with homers. Tied a record 15 in the series, had 9 in a game. That's a franchise record. That's a Yankees franchise record. This is a small ballpark anyway. That's the most home runs they've had. They had 3 home runs on the first 3 pitches of the game. You've never seen that. 1 pitch, gone. 2nd pitch of the game, gone. 3rd pitch, gone. Torpedo bats. That's what you'd be like, hey, could I get basketball shoes that make me jump higher so I can dunk it over Wembanyama? What if I had the shoes and nobody else had the shoes? What if I had the shoes that I could jump over Wembanyama and dunk it? Would you like to see that from Nate Brown? I'd love to see it, but you aren't going to see it. But what if I had the shoes that allowed me to do that? You okay with the shoes? The moon shoes? I don't like the sound of the torpedo bats, but if they continue to hit home runs, record-setting pace, I mean, a lot of homers. Keep your eye on this for the Yanks. Are you just going to let it go? So then the Padres, like the Padres just said they're going to try them. The Padres and the Braves just put in orders for the torpedo bats. They just put in orders, the Padres and the Braves, for the torpedo bats. So why didn't my Cubs put it in order? What are you doing? What are the Twins doing? Put it in order for the torpedo bats. Are you guys clueless? I mean, yes, I'm going to put it in order for the torpedo bats, but I don't like the sound of the torpedo bats, okay? I don't like how that would impact baseball. Baseball's a historic game. Historic numbers. I mean, we have to have respect for the number. I mean, that's what baseball purists, you tell me this. We're going to let the torpedo bats explode like Barry Bonds' forehead back in the day? Anyway, whoops, he had a muscle growing out of his forehead. Do you remember this back in the day? Anyway, let's see. Listener text, how about the Brewers pitching staff? Maybe that was the problem. Yeah, that could have been. Listener text, Judge hit 4. He doesn't use the torpedo bat. Yeah, I know. Imagine if he did. He'd hit it across the state. I mean, imagine if Judge used it. Let's see. If the torpedo bats are being used by the Yankees continue to produce record-setting homers, would you take a look at banning them for now? So we can take a look at what this MIT physicist did. What else did he put in these torpedo bats? 54% of you are voting in the poll tonight say keep the bats no matter what. 46% of you say if it continues like this, you got to look at banning the bats. 54% of you want to keep the bats. Listener text, it might not be the bats by themselves. It may have a lot to do with the pitching of the Brewers. They just gave up 11 runs to the Royals today. Well, let's hope. I hope you're right that the Brewers stink, because that'll help out my Cubs. Maybe the Brewers are just that bad. The Royals put up 11. Thank you. You might be right, but we'll see. Keep an eye on it. And by the way, I am going to say that if the Yankees keep this up and they're going to on pace to shatter the all-season record or whatever, the you got to look at banning the bats, right? I mean, we can't change the game like that. I don't think you can change the game like that using a different weapon, using an advantage like that. I mean, can we just stop doing stuff like this? Can we just use regular bats? Because why couldn't we use the cork bat then? Well, everybody can use the cork bat. Yeah, let's cork the bats. Why don't we just start using the college baseball metal bats? Let's just start using, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by that. The change in the bat around so they hit more home runs. They hit more power because they moved the weight is how it went. It moved the girth of the bat. You never thought you'd hear girth on this show, did you? They moved the weight around on the bats to make them hit more homers. I can't have it. That changes the baseball numbers. That changes the history of the game. Speaking of changing things, this is next. If we change this in the NFL, which they're looking at doing, if we change this, you all would be happy with it, right? We would not have a debate anymore if this is good or bad, right? If they changed it, then we all would think this is the right thing to do because it's fair. Everybody's going to be on the same playing field, right? That's what I think. The NFL's taking a look. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the number one source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com and start gliding again.
94 BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
You want trucks? We've got trucks at Danny Menno Rapid Chevrolet. Shop our largest selection of new Chevy HD trucks in years. 18 2500s, 15 3500s, gas, diesel, and dualies. All with our exclusive $1,500 Danny Menno discount. Plus, get factory cash rebates or financing as low as 3.9% APR for 60 months. The trucks you want are at Danny Menno Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMennoRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. 1837 per thousand finance regardless of down with qualified credit. Expires 3/31/25.
Who is it?
You're Prince Charming.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've been calling to you, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your golden hair for days.
I didn't hear you. The witch got the tower new replacement windows from Renewal by Anderson.
Didn't you wonder where I was?
Not really. My new windows are very energy efficient, keeping my tower very comfortable, and they have greatly reduced the noise levels.
What noise? You live in a forest.
Well, a certain needy prince is constantly yelling my name.
Do you not love me anymore?
Oh, quit being so dramatic.
Dramatic? Moi?
Yes, and Renewal by Andersen exclusively offers gorgeous ensemble security doors, safe and durable.
Do they?
You should get them for the castle along with new Acclaim replacement windows.
If I do, will you marry me?
Let's not rush it. And Prince Charming, get the windows for you, not me.
Oh, wait. Windows. For me?
Does your castle need new windows? Discover Acclaim windows and ensemble entry doors, custom fit and exclusive to Renewal by Andersen. Free consultations. Visit RBARapidCity.com.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Second hour of the program, Monday edition. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Thanks for being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Let's take a look at what's on tap in the second hour. Brought to you by the new Campfire Bar at Mr. Liquor, Rapid City. What's on tap? Chris Denker talking Final Four, former D1 head coach, pro basketball scout. Love talking hoops. He'll give me the breakdown. All the number one seeds are in. Chris Denker is on talking San Antonio Final Four. He is straight ahead. Rushmore Thunder high school hockey team just won the USA Hockey 2A National Championship in Irvine, California over the weekend. Conrad Reeder is the head coach. What a national title for the Rushmore Thunder hockey team. They won the state title, and this team out of Rapid City just won the national championship, beating Illinois yesterday. Rushmore Thunder head varsity coach Conrad Reeder after a USA Hockey National Championship. That's what's on tap tonight. Brought to you by the Campfire Bar. Your home for 20 local brews on tap just off Catron Boulevard in the new Mr. Liquor, South Dakota's best and biggest liquor store. A selection unlike any other. Stop into the Campfire Bar for sports. 20 local brews and Mr. Liquor just off Catron Boulevard, Rapid City. Okay. See, here's what people are saying about, we got two things that are colliding here in sports today. What is appropriate in competition? What is appropriate? Do you look for any edge you can get? The Yankees had an MIT physicist on their staff. He designed the torpedo bat. Where did they come up with this name, by the way? Listener text on the name of the torpedo bat. I want to see this here. 605-720-1067 on the Barons Wilson text line. Here's what a listener just texted. Nate, calling the new bat the torpedo because it helps to hit torpedoes, I find shady. Where did they get this name? But nonetheless, the Yankees have the new bat design, and they hit a bunch of homers over the weekend. Maybe it's the Brewers, but maybe it's the torpedo bat. And I want to see how this plays out. Is that an appropriate edge? Because it fits the rules, diameter, length, it's wood, so it fits the rules. So Major League Baseball are they just going to let this go? And now I'm going to switch over to the NFL. Same story today. This play that we've discussed, and it's been discussed nationally, but I'm going to bring it into the South Dakota Sports Talk Show again. The tush push is being discussed today by the Rules Committee. And there's going to be a league-wide vote coming up for the NFL. The owners are meeting this week, and there's going to be a vote on this out of the Competition Committee. And all the headlines today on this tush push that Philly uses so well, it was a heated discussion on if the Packers' proposal to ban the tush push is going to work. And people got into a heated discussion. And then another headline today was there's support. There's some teams, Andy Reid, Sean McDermott, some of these that are in favor potentially of banning the tush push. So there's some teams maybe they're supporting the Packers in banning the tush push. So I'm gonna say there's another edge. You took a play, you put a bunch of people behind you, and you push everybody and you use your momentum. I don't like the play. So it's an interesting case study with me, Nate Brown. I don't like the sound of the torpedo bats, if that's the case. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the tush push. I want real football plays, not having to worry about guessing the snap count because I can't get my momentum going because I don't have anybody doing that. I can't guess the snap count because then I'm going to get a penalty. And then I got two players behind the quarterback pushing him against me, the middle linebacker. Okay, so I don't like this these edges. I don't like hitting the edge. So if the NFL bans the tush push and nobody can do it, isn't that okay? Because they said, well, either everybody can do it or everybody can't do it. We should be okay if they ban the tush push because it's not a great play. It's not a great play to watch. But Eagles fans are going to be mad about this. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how's it going today?
Good, man. What do you say?
Good. So, hey, I totally get your point, but I will tell you that it is just the advancement of all sports, right? Like, you know, like golf clubs, golf balls. You know, anybody who golfs would not say, hey, I want to go back to the golf clubs that we had, you know,
the woods
50 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, the three-point line, you know, there's just continued development. People get bored, and they got to do something to make things a little bit better, right? The shot, or not the shot clock, the pitch clock in baseball,
yeah,
you know, the bigger bags.
Or the baseball design.
I think it's just advancement.
The baseball design, they changed the baseballs around a couple of years ago. Remember this?
Yep, there you go. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. I think, I don't love it. I'm kind of an old school baseball, old school. I'd ban the tush push as well, but you know, I just think it's advancement.
All right.
I don't think we can get out of the way out of it.
All right, I appreciate that. He's trying to give me some. He's trying to be, bring me back to reality. He said, "Come on, don't yell at the clouds too much." He's trying. He's trying. Thanks for calling. That's where he's trying to tell me. He's trying. I mean, sometimes, you never know what you're going to get from me on a Monday. Sometimes I got to yell at the clouds. No, not quite. Not quite. I'm okay with advancement. I think today's players are way better athletically. I mean, then we get into that. But I'm actually with some of this. But I don't like, what do I want to say? Taking it to the edge. As I said, the edge of the rules. Here's what else I would. If you ban the tush push, if they do that, I'm okay with it. I actually would like to see that banned. I don't know how it's going to play out with the NFL this week, but I would like to see that. If they say there's support on that, we'll see. It was a heated. Can you imagine just talking about the heated tush push and arguing over vegetable medley at their lunch today? I mean, it's just great. But I don't like taking to the edge of the rules. I don't like taking it to the edge. And if they ban the tush push, I'd like to also ban where the offensive lineman could just push the running back down the field. I mean, you used to not be able to advance the runner. That was advancing the runner unfairly, and you used to not be able to do that. So if they ban the tush push behind the QB, why are we going to still let the offensive lineman pick up running backs? And you know how it happens. They're running, the momentum's going. You got three of the hogs that pick up the guy and carry him for 5 more yards. Get rid of this stuff. We used to not. I mean, that's a bad play too. I think the defense is at such a disadvantage in the NFL all the way around. So, I mean, just let's take this. I know one thing at a time. Tush push first. But let's ban the advancing of the runner where the Hawks pick him up and carry him into the end zone. I mean, it's ridiculous. Listener text, sounds like you need to get with the times like streaming sports all the time. Don't go there. Let's not go there today. Let's go to Chris Denker. He's talking Final Four, okay? My bracket is perfect. Is yours? I went all number 1 seeds. I'm that guy. Can you believe it? I went all number 1 seeds. So it's Final Four set. I have Auburn, Duke, and Chris Denker's talking Final Four. What does he say about the number 1 seeds? Who does he think has the edge? My Dukies? Chris Denker, former D1 head coach, great basketball guest. Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Are you tired of your dog shredding your lawn or tracking in with muddy paws? Canine Grass by Forever Lawn is the high-performance artificial grass made specifically for dogs. Only the Canine Grass system has knitted backing for edge-to-edge drainage, antimicrobial blades, and no infill. Don't trap the waste and odors using any other turf. Call 605-831-9026 or Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. With dealerships on both sides of the state, we're ready to help you clean up after your dogs. Forever Lawn in South Dakota.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise overcast. Lows around 34, winds out of the southeast, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for rain tomorrow, high of 42, cloudy. Cloudy skies tomorrow night, mixed precipitation likely, lows around 29. About an inch of snow tomorrow night through Wednesday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 38 degrees.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
It is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio, driven this hour by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to pre-owned vehicles in South Dakota, start at SummitAutoGRP.com. SummitAutoGRP.com. It's pre-owned and it's car buying built around you, the right finance and the right selection. Take a look on your phone right now, SummitAutoGRP.com. Experience car buying built around you. Chris Denker's on tonight. Let's talk Final Four. Former D1 coach, pro basketball scout, Net Scouts Basketballs, Chris Denker, joining us on the Pizza Ranch hotline. Chris, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I can't remember your Final Four. Do you have the number one seeds? Did you go all number one?
I did. For the first time in a long, long time, I did, and it panned out.
Okay, so you went all number one seeds. So as you watch the season, as you watch these teams, why'd you go number one seeds this year? Because I did too, and I mean, I didn't watch all these games and all these teams, but I looked at it and said, I don't know if some of these teams can knock these teams off. And there were some competitive games on the Elite Eight here, but why were the number one seeds better than you remember compared to others?
Yeah. I mean, I want to give you a legit answer to that, and part of it would say, well, it's just easy because they're the ones or whatever. But I do think that there were, St. John's was intriguing to me, even Tennessee. So Alabama, without a doubt. There were some teams that I, would certainly have considered. But for me, when I do my bracket anyway, I just look at the next game. Who's playing who, and who do I think will win that game? And obviously, if there's upsets and stuff, then that can disrupt that. But I just felt like from a matchup perspective, it was going to come down to this. Now I had St. John's advancing to that game against Florida, for example, and that didn't come out. But I had Florida coming there, and Houston I thought was better than Tennessee and would win that. And so it just kind of turned out that way. But I do think that, this was a unique year, and then I thought there were 8 or 10 teams that, at the end of it might have a chance to have a say. But these teams were certainly some of the best going into the tournament, and then, lucked out in my bracket, but I just think that they're probably the 4 best teams, and regardless of the region that they came through.
So I want to ask you about that Texas Tech matchup yesterday. Texas Tech, I thought, had it. Florida was in trouble, and then it was a meltdown. I mean, that was a you tell me as a coach, what was going on with Texas Tech in the final 5 minutes, the meltdown?
Yeah, no, for sure. I totally agree with you, and I was really disappointed. I'd followed them a lot. I know one of the players there, and my son's team had played against them this year, and so I just was kind of following them with a keen eye, and I thought, they've got this game. And the thing with it is Texas Tech is much like a Houston in that they can really guard, and they can grind you out and make it kind of ugly at the end and win that game. They just started errors at the defensive end, messed up switches due to lack of communication, leave a guy open, guy throws in a 3. All the things you don't want when you're up. I think they were up 10. Certainly, I think it was 3 or 4 missed free throws, and at least 2 of those were front ends 1-on-1. So call it, 4 to 6 for, you count 6 points you're leaving on the board there. And then one of the plays, I think at some point I thought to myself, you know what, they've let it get to them a little bit, because at one point Clayton got a rebound in the middle of the key, and their kind of desperation offense, and he literally turned and dribbled it out of the key to the top of the key, turned around and faced the basket, and shot a 3, and nobody from Tech even that guy's first-team All-American. And they need 3s. What are we doing? We're just letting him decide he's going to dribble out and shoot a 3 and make it. I mean, I think they just had a mental meltdown at that point, and they were just kind of all over the place. And it's unfortunate for them.
I want to say, I think it was more than 10 there, like 4 minutes left or so. It was a little more than 10. That was Saturday night. Yeah, Texas Tech melted down. Florida just gets by. So I've got Auburn, Duke. That's who I've got. How do you see the Final Four, these 2 games playing out? Auburn, Florida, I think Auburn comes and gets them. Auburn's been playing well, and then I think Duke is too much for Houston. I don't know if Houston's going to be able to score enough. People say, well, Duke's not going to score on Houston. Well, I'll take Duke's offense over Houston's offense against a really good Duke defense.
Yeah, so first game first, Florida and Auburn. I believe they only played once this year, and Florida won that. Florida made a ton of 3s, so kind of like that Alabama game from a few days ago where they're just making everything they throw up. That kind of is difficult to project sometimes, and sometimes teams just, maybe the same could be said yesterday for Tennessee. They're 0 of 14 until a minute to go at the half and can't make a 3, and then a guy throw one in. But Florida shot it really, really well. Got up, I think, 20 against Auburn. Auburn came back, and it was tight at the end. I also, like you, Nate, picked in my bracket. I have these 1 seeds in the Final Four, and I picked Auburn to beat Florida in that semifinal. And I just think Auburn is not that Florida isn't, but Auburn's really dangerous if they get all things clicking, and if they are all on the same page. They've got some outstanding individual players. Again, I know Florida does too. Everybody does at this stage, but that's who I picked. In the Houston-Duke matchup, I kind of tend to agree with you. I also picked Duke. I think Houston's the number 1 defense in the nation, and Duke's the number 1 offense in the nation, and those are by Ken Palm stats. I think, and I think I said this to you last week, Nate. To me, And Tennessee was not able to get into the key. They could not dribble the ball and drive it into the basket, but there's a number of ways to do it. Cutters thrown into the post, cutting into the post, pick and roll lobs to Malwalk Kid, or just dribble drive. Can you break the defense down, get into the lane, score it, get fouled, or then spray it out and shoot threes? Tennessee could not do that against Houston. I think Duke can do that. Now, they don't have the super quick, guard to do it, but they've got the big guys, the big, talented, skilled forwards who can do it, and they have a variety of guys who can do it. And then again, they have the lob threat to both posts that play. So I have Duke winning that, and I have an Auburn-Duke final.
Okay, so I just saw CBS Sports. They were talking, breaking down the Final Four. I think it was Wally Zerbiak said Duke wins by double digits over Houston.
Yeah. I don't know that I would go so far as to say that because I just have too much respect for Houston. I don't think they're going to go away. If for anything else, you know, all your X's and O's can go out the door, things aren't working, whatever isn't happening, they are tough as nails, and they're going to fight. And so, you know, they might lose, but you're going to have some bruises, and they're going to put their best foot forward in some way, shape, or form, whether that's guarding you and rebounding. I mean, yesterday, how many offensive rebounds did they get to get second and third possessions? And so, you know, again, maybe they don't just out-execute you. They do have two really good guards, and then the sharp kid shot the heck out of it yesterday, so it's a third perimeter guy. But you mentioned earlier, Nate, I don't know if enough people talk about Duke's defense. This is one of the best Duke defensive teams in a long time. And it's not, you know, there were years ago under Coach K where they might pick you up full and press you and really show their defensive pressure. This is just a really effective, good, solid position defensive team. Makes you score over them. They got all kinds of length. I think they're really good. They're very well schooled on their switches and whatnot. So I think that this is a kind of, as you said, it's sort of this, well, Houston's the defensive team, but let's not forget about Duke's defense. And so I think I agree with you. I think they'll win. I don't know if I agree it'll be a 20-point game.
Chris Danker talking Final Four coming up Saturday. D1 coach, NetScoutsBasketball.com. Cooper Flagg, you tell me, how does his game transition to the NBA? He can shoot it, I think, at a high enough percentage. Maybe he has to be even a little better there. How does his game project there? He's going to be the number one pick. Like, does he impact the NBA right away?
Yeah, I think he's a stud. I'm a big fan. There's a lot of times when I look at these drafts and you know, a lot's being made of the two freshmen at Rutgers. I'm not as high because I'm kind of the mind that, well, if you got two top 5 picks on the same team, why didn't they make the NCAA tournament? And so, you know, I have some certain opinions on the way guys play or how they fit towards an NBA, you know, situation and roster and so on and so forth. But with this guy, I think he can't miss. I just think Cooper Flagg is, first of all, he's got the size. He's still immature physically in terms of, you know, I think he's like 19 years old. Well, he can put on some muscle and some weight, obviously, and he's 205 or whatever it is now. He's already a good athlete, and that's going to improve, again, with some strength and maturity. And then he's got the skill. I mean, heck, there's a lot of times when Duke will throw it back to him, and he kind of acts as that point forward, and he's bringing the ball down the floor and making decisions. And then you mentioned the shooting. That's only going to get better. You know, the shot isn't broken. It looks fine. It could just be a little bit more consistent, and he's going to, you know, work on that, and people continue to work on it with him. But he can do so many other things, and he can still score. He drives you. He's got mid-range. He can get around the rim. And then he's been playing better defense than I think people realize. So, and the passing. I mean, I just think he's a good all-around player. I think he can fit with a lot of teams. I think there's teams right now, you know, if you just look around the league and say, okay, what if we plugged him in right here at this 3 spot or small ball 4, however, you know, different teams play, and he'd help a team right now. I just think he's the real deal.
How about John Shire? Everybody's, you know, if he flopped, people would be all over him. You take over for Coach K, a legend. He has the players, but how good of a job does he do coaching?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting, not just with him and following a legend like that, but if you look at the various schools who have named coaches, you know, to take over and maybe not even for a Hall of Famer, but look at Villanova, replacing Jay Wright, and even the guys who were played under him and assisted under him, and then maybe went somewhere else in Philly. They've had guys go to Drexel and to LaSalle and to Temple and to all the different places, St. Joe's, and not succeed. And it's so my point in saying this, and even the Duke guys who have left, the Duke staff and gone and been assistants or been head coaches somewhere else, it isn't easy. And so no matter what, you might be learning under a Coach K in this instance, a Jay Wright, Roy Williams learned under Dean Smith, but you still got to go do it. And it's a different chair, and there's a different level of responsibility. The players look at you slightly differently because you're the guy making the playing time decisions, and so you're not the buddy anymore. And he's having to make the hires of the assistant coaches and so on and so forth. And he's done a great job of it. I mean, he's really handled it his way. They do some things differently than what sort of Duke used to do. His personality and sort of his demeanor is different. It just he's his own guy, and he's doing it the right way that way. And I can't commend him enough. He's done a really good job. Now look, it's a little different because Duke's Duke, and they're going to recruit guys. But that's part of the deal, right, is when you're capable. It's like Roy Williams. When he left, where did he go? Kansas. Well, I can think of worse places to coach, right? So he's going to have some talent, but you still got to coach him. And to his credit, he's done a great job with them, and they're really consistent. Like you said, they're also good defensively. It isn't just a scoring thing, and it seems to be rolling because the one thing that's different about their team than the others, particularly this year, is they have more freshmen than anybody that are making a key contribution. So he and his staff are really doing a nice job. I also think interesting that they've done so well through this tournament, or it seems to be without a hiccup, with the Lucas guy taking the Miami job.
Yeah,
and it hasn't impacted anything. It hasn't disrupted or caused any kind of problems.
Chris Denker and I have the same Final Four, the same championship matchup. That may not be good for Chris, but I feel better once he has it. I like that. Chris Denker on tonight. Net Scouts basketball, always great. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Nate.
Appreciate your time. Love talking hoops. One of our best basketball guys, former D1 coach, Chris Denker on tonight. NetScoutsBasketball.com. It's Duke and Auburn. That's the play. That's who it's going to be, okay? And I told you. Duke and Auburn. Now, here's the bad part. My daughter picked Duke Auburn. She's got that too. She picked Duke. I have to tell you, I picked Auburn. I'm a Duke fan. I hardly ever pick them to win the whole thing. It's bad. It's a bad vibe. Can't do that. So I went against them. That means they'll probably win. Conrad Reeder is in next. He's the head coach, Rushmore Thunder, varsity boys, the USA Hockey 2A high school national champions. They just won the whole thing in Irvine, California over the weekend. They're back in South Dakota as national champs. First time you've ever seen it. Conrad Reeder joins us next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Uh-oh, you have to open the old gliding door to the patio again, but that thing stopped gliding long ago. Did you know that your old, ugly, hard-to-open gliding door is probably the #1 source of loss of heat in your home, and that broom handle lock is not secure? Renewal by Anderson's gliding patio doors are simply the best of the best, and Renewal has an incredible offer right now. Don't miss it. 20% off every door, plus no money down, no payments, no interest for 12 months. No payments until 26. Please book your free estimate right now at rbarapidcity.com and start gliding again.
Selection of spirits, wines, and beers at the best prices today at both Mr. Liquor locations in Rapid City. Save $7 on Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, now $23.99. 750 bottles of Jefferson Bourbon reduced $5, now just $29.99. Or take advantage of special pricing on Old Forester Whiskey Row Series Bourbon. Experience the new Mr. Liquor 2 next to Walmart off Catron, or the original location on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
We're talking with Britt Wicked at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Britt, one of the injuries we hear a lot about in sports, an ACL tear. You can't prevent all injuries, but good sports performance training could help.
Yeah, Nate, one of the things that a lot of good sports performance training focuses on is trying to not only prepare athletes for the field of sport, but also try to mitigate their risk to sustain an injury. Unfortunately, things happen in sport. If anybody ever does experience an ACL tear, that results in needing a surgery to fix that, it's important to have a therapist on your side who can help them through prehab, rehab, and then return to sport. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a long time to get back to the field of sport, but it's not impossible to do it all by any means. So just having that end goal in mind can be really beneficial for the rehab process.
When it comes to ACLs and sports performance training and treatment, get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Hey Rush fans, it's Rob at the Firehouse Skybox. We are your official home for Rapid City Rush hockey. When the Rush are playing on the road, join other Rush fans at the Skybox and enjoy some great food and cheer on your Rush. We show every Rush away game, and we'll have Rush-themed giveaways every road trip. You'll get a chance to win great Rush prizes with the purchase of a drink or food item. The Skybox has the best food and the best Rush game day experience. Go Rush!
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is on Fox Sports Radio across the state. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show live. Also on Twitter right now. Follow us and watch us live. If you're not on the radio side, you can catch us on your phone on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us live every afternoon at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. Boy, this has been a big deal. I've been shouting these guys out tonight. They deserve this. This Rushmore Thunder varsity boys hockey team in Rapid City just won the USA Hockey 2A National Championship. They won the state championship in South Dakota, right? They only lost one game all year. And then they get to this national tournament. They had some tough games out there. The championship they win, beat a team out of Illinois, and they're the first time we've seen this. The national champion, USA Hockey. Their head coach, you know him, hockey guy, Conrad Reeder, former Rapid City Rush player, and now the head varsity coach, Rushmore Thunder. He's back in South Dakota. Coach, congrats. I'm sure this has been a whirlwind. A national champion with these boys. I appreciate you coming on. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
I appreciate you.
Quite a run.
Let me ask you. I'm going to say you had a great hockey career. People in Rapid City know you. I got to ask you, what was you've had a hockey life. What's this experience been like as a coach around players? This winning experience as opposed to some of your other hockey achievements?
You know what? Completely different and so much better in so many ways. I've got to, it kind of changed my life when I retired. A lot of guys go through a kind of a tough period, and I had these guys, that from about 6 years old up, and we were bribing them with chocolate milk just to see them grow from, little dudes to all of a sudden great young men, and not just good hockey players, but just really good people and fun to be around. And, you know, I played for a long time, but I never won a championship. And for them to get two like this, you know, something very special, and couldn't be more proud of them.
Okay, I want to ask you, you said you've been building this. A lot of times youth sports and things like this, if things go wrong, maybe people are unhappy, maybe this happens, maybe that happens. How did you, this team, have this success building to this? What was special here?
I think, a lot of good things, right? Like, we've got great kids, but we also have really good parents, and they've done just a really good job of letting me coach their kids, and maybe because, you know, I'm Canadian or something, they let me get away with some stuff that they normally wouldn't, and just because sometimes parents get so involved in youth sports, and I think they've really given me the opportunity to help their kids, at least with hockey, and, you know, hopefully a little bit about life too, and I think they've just grown into just great young men, so the parents have been huge in this group.
Conrad Reeder joining us. He's the Rushmore Thunder head varsity coach. They won the USA Hockey 2A High School National Championship. They were playing over the weekend, just won it, and just got back in South Dakota. What was this experience like, this tournament, this level of play? Talk about the achievement.
Yeah, yes, we have a really good team, but also just to be able to do this, you play 6 games in like 5.5 days, something that's really hard to prepare for. And I'm biased, but I think hockey is one of the biggest complete team sports where you need everybody, right? You can't rely on one individual at all. And the guys just completely bought in. You have to play the quarterfinal in the morning on Saturday, and then the semifinal where we beat the defending champs on the second day, on the same day. So basically playing a doubleheader in hockey, which is almost unheard of. And I think that's where our depth came in. That team tried to ride 5 kids pretty much, and they ran out of gas. And we played the ultimate team game, I thought, and were able to come ahead. And then obviously had a big performance in the championship game, but just really like the way the kids, they bought in all year, but really came together in this tournament.
Rushmore Thunder varsity head coach Conrad Reeder. This team out of Rapid City won the USA Hockey 2A National Championship yesterday, beating Illinois 6-2 in the final championship. So here's something I noticed as I followed your team. I noticed, I get, here's who scored, here's who assisted, here's who did this. That seemed like it was almost different almost every game. I talk about the makeup. It seems like you guys had different guys step up here, and I wonder how well-rounded you thought you were.
Yeah, I think that's what I think won us the championship. We were just so deep. We had so many guys step up to. Obviously, if you watched us this year, we set a record for goals in South Dakota for high school hockey, so we like to go offensively. But we just had so many guys that stepped up this week, and it really was a complete team effort.
Okay, I got to ask you, speaking of setting records, your son's playing. He scored the most goals in South Dakota. Talk about that relationship. What has that been like?
Well, you know what? I'm pretty proud of him just because of the fact he had a bad baseball injury last year. 4 games in for post-22, it was a tibial plateau fracture. They didn't think he'd come back and play, even maybe not at all this year, maybe in November. He really applied himself to his PT. Dr. Mortimer did a great job on his knee, and he got back at it, and he worked his ass off, really, and just competed and did all the stuff, the little things. He treats his body like a pro, and to have the year he had was pretty special just because of, what he actually battled through, and so now he starts post-22 tomorrow, and so hopefully he can have a decent year there, too.
Okay, I look forward to that. From hockey to baseball. By the way, are you tougher in hockey or are you tougher in baseball? I know you coach some Little League baseball at times, too. I mean, what are you tougher in?
I know more about hockey.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Definitely in hockey, and I think that's for Wyatt, that's been the biggest thing. He gets no... with baseball, I just get to be his dad now, which is awesome. And with hockey, I pick his game apart pretty hard. So I think probably that's one of the reasons why he likes baseball. But you know what? Guess what? Next week I get to start. I've got a little guy who's 5, and I get to go to coach pitch baseball. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay, I like it. 24 hours or more coming back on this bus trip. You probably wouldn't have it any other way. Rushmore Thunder varsity head coach Conrad Reeder on tonight. The USA Hockey 2A national champions. The accomplishment, I mean, people say, well, this is huge. Well, you win a state title, and then talk about this process of getting to this level and kind of what this means in the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, for one, the city of Rapid City has been unbelievable, right? This is my adopted hometown. We absolutely love it here. We're going to stay, but it's just the way they stepped up. I mean, they raised $20,000 for us to go to, get on a bus and drive all the way out to California and hotels and all that. So for them to step up for that, this community, we couldn't be more thankful for it, for what they did for our boys. And yeah, we're just very grateful.
Well, I'll tell you had to finish it off, and you did. I think you put South Dakota on the map. A lot of people were rooting for you, I know, in the region. I saw that. Rushmore Thunder out of Rapid City, they win the varsity boys 2A national championship, the USA Hockey title over the weekend, and Conrad Reeder, their head coach, former Rapid City Rush star. Conrad, congrats to you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Nate.
I
Really
appreciate
you.
You appreciate your time. After a long trip, they got through it, the gauntlet, 6 games, and they got it done. Congrats to the Rushmore Thunder boys. I've been doing some shout-outs tonight, and people in the Rapid City community are really excited about this. A great group of kids, hard-working. That doesn't happen by accident. That's a lot of work. That Rushmore Thunder program's been really going. It's been really going, and you've seen it, and now they hit the pinnacle here with the title. Their head coach, former Rapid City Rush star, Conrad Reeder, on tonight. Congrats to the Rushmore Thunder, the national champs, USA Hockey high school champs. Coming right back, who's hot and who's not next?
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
In towns all across South Dakota, it's your banker, the kids' Little League coach, and your brother-in-law who are the firefighters, EMTs, and first responders. So when you drink and drive, the whole town will know it, because they're the first on the scene, and maybe the last faces you see. Do the first responders in your town a favor. Volunteer to be the designated driver. You be the hero, and give them the night off. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hi, it's Nate Brown for Black Hills Community Bank. If you run your own company or you're looking to start a small business here in the Black Hills, you want to make sure you choose the right banking partner, and I know the right choice for business is Black Hills Community Bank. They have plenty of banking options to suit your specific needs, and Black Hills Community Bank is here to help business owners thrive and to make sure you have the support and tools to help your business grow. Just contact one of their business loan experts today or visit bhcbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection, and brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise overcast. Lows around 34, winds out of the southeast 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for rain tomorrow, high of 42, cloudy. Cloudy skies tomorrow night, mixed precipitation likely, lows around 29. About an inch of snow tomorrow night through Wednesday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 38 degrees.
Luxury meets incredible savings at Spearfish Cadillac. We're closing out our remaining 2024 Cadillac models, and now's your chance to drive home sophistication for less. Get $4,800 off the stylish XT4, $5,100 off the refined XT5, or $6,300 off the spacious XT6. Want an all-electric luxury? Save up to $9,200 off the stunning Cadillac Lyriq. 2024 stock is limited, so these deals won't last. Visit us online at spearfishcadillac.com.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Here we go. Let's wrap it up on a Monday night, every night at this time. Who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Who's hot category going to go to Coastal Carolina. They're trying to figure out how do we get people to our games. So for football season, Coastal Carolina, you buy season tickets. Not many of us in South Dakota will do that. But if you buy season tickets to Coastal Carolina, they're giving you unlimited free concessions. Free concessions? What an idea. Let's think about that. Think about that. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, Braves outfielder Jurickson Profar came over from the Padres. Profar's now with the Braves. Just got popped for a PED 80-game suspension. We're only in the opening weekend. Profar for the Braves out. Performance-enhancing drugs tested positive. Thanks for listening to The Nate Brown Show. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now. See you tomorrow.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints